do the motion?
Christina, go ahead.
Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
Second.
Get a roll call.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Muskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfie?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Karras?
Yes. Okay, so with the one item that we have here of the salary adjustments, our recommendation then as a committee is that we move this forward. Mr. Harper, you okay with that?
Yes.
And Ms. West. Okay, and that's the only item. Management update?
No, I said enough.
Said enough. Okay.
All right.
And so at 8:25, personnel committee adjourned.
I like to do that. Sorry.
Well, hold on.
My frustration.
Yeah, 8:45.
Oh.
I'm on the information systems committee to order.
Okay, I'm going to exit the
All right. Bye.
Thank you. A couple updates on a couple of things. One of the things that's not on the discussion item.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Wi-Fi is moving forward. They did order the stuff. Shockingly, everything's on back order. They're waiting for things to
Oh.
So that also pertains to the Wi-Fi at Chestnut Hills and City Park. So those things have been ordered. It is just about getting those things here so we can put them in place. The VPN update I found went well until Paul said he was getting his email. So, or not the VPN, the multi-factor authentication piece. So we need to make sure, as far as the VPN goes, that's what we're talking about.
When you read your email also on your phone,
Yes.
well, you have to actively do something. If you do have a computer, it kind of happens automatically. So
Yeah.
probably why. Because I noticed that too. My phone wasn't updating.
I think you have to do it on a computer or a laptop first, then you can do it to your phone.
Oh,
I think that's what I understand from
Well, I think
Katie.
you have to, on my iPhone, you have to do
And
something.
then I had to do something on my phone as well.
Yeah, you have to do
Yes.
something different.
But I think I had to do it on my computer first,
Yeah.
and
I
then
don't know what it is, but-
So the multi-factor authentication piece, we've done with our emails already, and that didn't cost us any money. That was already included with our Microsoft Office. Is look at that for our VPN. And what we did is they looked to see how many people are actually using the VPN. So we're not just authorizing this for every employee. We're not using the VPN. We obviously don't use the VPN. Yeah. And so there's 38 people, I think. And then 18 in the police department that use the VPN. And we're looking to do that multi-factor authentication for them as well to protect the VPN, just as we're doing with the email. So I had Chelsea send out the estimate for that was provided by Paul Yankee.
VPN is a virtual private network.
Yes.
We use it for our own pipeline. What are all those accounts that need a virtual private network?
yeah, we'll have to get some information on that. But I mean, it's like if I take my computer home and sign on at home, it's got like yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, anytime I use if I use this laptop at home for any city business, I would go on the VPN and do it.
So
Anybody who has a laptop, I know, Finney's got a few in his department.
so
Judy's got
that's
a
where the
couple.
38 number comes from.
Yeah, I would have liked to review that before we got to that because the cost is $4 per. So if we decide maybe there's only like 28 of them that we need to do this with,
Okay.
maybe we could do that.
I'll be able to look at that before our next meeting to see so we have the numbers.
I'll make a note. Yeah, I mean, hopefully Katie will be here tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's $4 per.
Yeah.
And then the police officers, the cruisers will be removed because of the system they're going to.
Yeah.
They won't need it. But for right now, they need it. When they don't need it anymore, they'll be removed from the costs for that. So it's kind of confusing.
So what are we doing? Adding some.
We're adding that multi-factor authentication to anyone using the VPN. And the product that we're using for that, so that like put in a passcode kind of sort of thing that we did for our email. There'll be something set up, an additional step set up for the VPN.
That costs $4 for all the ones.
Yeah,
Each
for the
one.
VPN, there's nothing built in, there's nothing free for that. So that'll be good for Brian to look to see how many people are using it. If there's only 20 people using it, and that's really not that much of a cost.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think adding that multi-factor thing is annoying, but it's good annoying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the internet stuff is annoying for folks until we use it for a bit. I know in my job, we put all this in place already over a year ago, and I don't even notice it.
Yeah.
I think it's just having the ability to change and having someone there to help you with it. We talked about that at our committee meeting. We talked about this whole Microsoft multi-factor thing for a long time, and finally said, "Listen, it's not that difficult. It sounds really complicated, but it's not, and it's something that really needs to be done." There's just so many cybersecurity issues right now that we just have to be prepared for that. And a lot of the cyber insurance is required.
Yeah.
So the next time we go for our cyber insurance, they're going to want to know that we've done it.
The email one we did, we absolutely had to because it was almost impossible, I guess, to get covered without that email one we had to do. This one is being recommended now by insurances, and it probably will be mandated soon. That's what it sounds like.
So I have that, and then the other thing is bringing up again the security awareness training. And I know we've talked about that before. Obviously, we haven't needed it as much. The things we have in place are working really well, but we also know that the people that hack into systems work faster than the people that are on them, and things are going to change. Quality IP was able to find another company that was less than half the cost for cybersecurity training at $250 a month instead of per user.
Yeah, I think that one ended up over $600 a month, which was just.
And I know even just, again, not to compare to my employer, but this stuff is needed. Things change every day. Simple things like even learning not to plug we were talking about this at the committee meeting, not to plug your cord of your phone at the airport because someone could hack your phone that way.
Yep.
Those are things that people don't realize exist.
Don't use public charging.
Yeah. And for social media as well. The city uses a lot of social media and some training on social media usage and how that operates and works. That's also built into this. I think that would be important. I know Parks and Rec uses social media, the police department. And I'm noticing a lot of things, a lot of commenting happening on social media that probably shouldn't. So just to learn how to handle that and to learn how to move forward with that would be a good training for all the staff.
Yes.
I don't know. What is the training, though? I mean, is it in-person training?
Was it on
I
computer?
think
No, it's computer.
if you read it, I think it's some short videos, and then you do a questionnaire after it.
It's very similar to what was presented to us before, but it's less than half the cost.
Yeah, well, I wasn't so sure we needed it at all. Not because it doesn't have some value, but whether or not we require staff to do it. I mean, just having them at that price isn't going to do us any good if there's not a program to require staff to actually view the training. I mean,
Would
we
they
don't
be-
have the training at Kansas State. We don't have this in place, and it's a pretty big organization.
We have it. We had it at the county, and we also have it at the hospital at the clinic,
What is it?
where you have to log in and do training periodically, and they can tell who logs in and who doesn't log out or in. So I would think Quality IP would be able to see who, and at that time they probably could print the list to the administration could divide by department, and if their department heads would have to look to see who would, who completed and who didn't. I can't imagine them not having that capability.
Yeah, well, my point then is we need to have both things in place. We could spend $250 a month for videos nobody watches.
Well, no, I think we would have to implement a policy
Yeah, you're
that
right. Yeah.
you are required to do
That would be the
ABC
administration.
every so many weeks or, within each quarter or however the administration feels fit.
Well,
And
some of this should become part of the handbook.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if it's not being followed, if a department head gets a list of employees that haven't done their training, they say, okay, you've got, 3 days to complete your training or you're going to lose.
Yeah. We want to make
your
sure that we have
privileges.
we're in the by the unions and make sure we got everything kind of lined up before we agree to it. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
We want to have a policy that probably came from the mayor's office. Make sure we talk with the unions. But,
Right.
So I think
Yeah,
once
make
that
sure-
policy is in place, it can
make sure
come
there's
back and
teeth
we
to
can
it. Yeah.
implement training at that point.
That sounds good. And I forwarded everybody the security presentation that all the IP sent me. They just sent it to me right before the meeting. So
Oh, okay.
all I knew was that it was very similar to the last one that was proposed. So take a look at it and let me know if you guys have any questions on any of that stuff.
Well, do we want to move forward the VPN with the added multi-factor verification?
Authentication.
Yeah, keep the security training as a separate issue for later.
Yeah, I agree.
Paul, does that sound good?
Yes.
Wake up.
It's been a long meeting.
It's getting late.
It's been a long one.
I could probably talk about anything right now. Doesn't matter.
Like, sure. It sounds great.
No, so but truly, as far as this technology and security stuff, I've been trying to figure out all those departments to take what quality IP is up the best of my knowledge. In the cybersecurity piece, I tried to find vendors on my own. I had no luck because I'm not quality IP. So I trust that they know, and they worked really hard to try to find this other company for us. So, in fact, I think I tried to reach out to this other company.
Yeah.
All right, so do we have a management update?
No, I'm sparing you that.
Wasn't there something else on the agenda? What
He's
it
saying,
was?
yeah, my computer
No.
doesn't work the way I want it to.
The social media
User
stuff
error.
kind of, that was built into the training, just that cybersecurity training and social media training.
So it's a completely different thing.
It's not, it's built into, there's classes through that training.
It says social media policy. You're talking about Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that.
I'm just talking about inside of the lessons or whatever the folks get, they would also get those on how to use social
Okay. So we're not talking about a policy regarding social media.
All right,
Okay.
all right, that's it.
All right. We will adjourn with our committee meetings, all of them at 8:43.
37.
I-
Yeah, I think you,
It's my frustration. Okay, I was able to finally get
So
it.
your first meeting is really long.